How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. I'm Marshall. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Aggies' struggles shooting, how it continues. I'm wearing a football shirt, which might be kind of weird to wear for a basketball video. But when I was looking through my clothes today, I wanted to wear an Aggie shirt because today our baseball team has their first game of the season at 6. So I'm going to go watch that. Our women's softball team has a game today at 2 as well, so I'm going to watch that. They play against Nebraska, who's ranked 17th in the nation. We have them at home, so it'll be a hard game to get, but since we have the home crowd, maybe we can try to get an upset win. And then we play again, it's a tournament, it's a Troy Cox Classic, which we have every year for softball. So if you're in the area, you should go check it out. I think it'll be really fun. And we have a chance to get some wins. Our softball team's 4-2. Looking forward to our baseball team to play against St. Thomas, who I think had about the same record as us last year, so should be a pretty even matchup. 4 games. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they can split it, or maybe the Aggies can try to win the whole series. But today, obviously, talking about the Aggies, disappointing loss once again. I mean, the shooting struggles just continued for way too long, way longer than fans would want. It's their 8th straight game where they shot poorly from the field. And out of those 8 games, they won 2 of them, and they're fortunate to win those 2 games because against Middle Tennessee, they didn't score in the last 6.5 minutes. They just had free throws. And then against FIU's not that great of a team, but they deserve to beat us because they had a home crowd. They were hyped. They almost beat us, but we got lucky at the end. Took advantage, made some free throws. But yeah, the struggling with shooting has just been a lot more than I expected, than most fans would want. Play against FIU tomorrow, who we already beat on the road, but we've been struggling at home a lot recently. Lost our last 4 home games, 7-5 at home this year. We had a better home record last year. All we need to do is get one more win to get the same amount of wins as we had last year, and they just haven't been able to do that. We've lost 6 out of our last 7 after winning 7 straight. So it's been kind of disappointing, but we're going to get into all that right now. Coach Hooten did switch up the starting lineup, which I liked, and I don't know if anybody else liked that idea, but I thought there kind of needed to be a little bit of a change. All our returners from last year started except for Christopher Bayegu, who doesn't get a whole lot of minutes, but our 3 main guys that are returners from last year's team, Christian Cook, obviously, Jaden Harris, and Robert Carpenter, all started. But out of those 3 guys, none of them really played well. Christian played a little better. I think he shot a little bit better. Didn't shoot as much as he did the last game. Took 15 shots against UTEP. I think he took a little less than that, but was missing a lot of his middies. He had one really nice dunk that hyped up the crowd, that hyped myself up, hyped up the team, hyped up himself, I'm sure. But that was his really only big highlight play. Had a 3, just couldn't get a lot of shots to go. He had a deep 2. Phil was on the line. We were up by 5 at the start of the second half, and he had a wide open 3 and missed it. I feel like if he made that, we would have went by, obviously would have went up by 8. And who knows, maybe it's a different outcome of the game. Maybe that gives us a lot more energy after that dunk he had at the end of the first half. We played great defense to make sure Liberty didn't score, had that 5-point lead, and it just went away quickly. We only scored 1 point in the first 5-6 minutes of the second half. I don't know what goes on in that locker room at halftime, but the second half has just been horrible for this team. We have so much skill, have so much talent. I feel like we have a lot of potential, but they just can't put it together in that second half. They can't put 2 good halves together consistently. Sure, they've had games like that where they have, like I said, the La Tech game or the UTEP game on the road, but very rarely have they done so. Robin and Jaden actually didn't score, neither did Emmanuel. He was back to his old self. I mean, he had to play, he played a great game against UTEP, played his heart out. Most points were free throws, but he was making them consistently, shot 75% from the line. Was able to dominate, got a lot of boards. Almost had a double-double, had some block shots, but last night I only think he took a shot or 2. His brother Nate came out the bench and actually gave us some solid minutes. I think he had 6 points, had a nice and-1, didn't make the free throw, but he gave us some big minutes. Same with Carl Sharonfont. He hasn't gotten in a game in a while, hasn't played a whole lot of minutes in conference especially, but he came in and showed why he deserves minutes. I mean, to me, he looked really good, and honestly, arguably could have been our best player of the night, most consistent. Wazadi was definitely our best guy. I mean, he had 18 points, 4 rebounds, shot the ball really well, made most of his free throws. He missed a couple, but other than that, he did a lot of things well, and we wouldn't have been able to be competitive if it wasn't for him. It's like a tradition, all these games. We always seem to shoot really bad, but we only lose by 10 points or less. Every game is winnable. We just shoot bad. And that's because our defense is really good. I think our defense is really good. I think our coaches are really good. And I think our players are solid. But when you can't hit shots and it's not your day, anybody can beat you. And every shot we miss, it's like a curse or something. Every time we miss a shot, it's literally in and out. And it's super close to going in. It's like a double rim when you're playing outside. I have no clue what's going on. I feel like the rim's got to be broken or something. I know they're not, obviously, but it's just insane. How can we be missing this bad? Or not missing this bad. How do we keep missing those shots so closely? And how can we be this bad at shooting when a lot of the guys that we have, like Zadie Jackson, was one of the leading scorers in Division II last year, averaging 22 a game. Deontay averaged 15 a game last year at Cal State Northridge. Christian Cook's been our leading scorer for the past couple years. Rob, he's always been a big shot Rob, is like they call him. Hits those big threes when we need him the most. I just don't know what's going on with them all recently. Jacoby Osborne in the rotation. He's been in the rotation about 4 games in a row, I believe, and he's been playing very well. He had 5 points, had a nice dunk, had a nice little putback to start the game, had a free throw. He did some good things, played some good defense. I think he had some turnovers here and there, but other than that, he played well. Gabe Pickens, he played all right. He said he had a couple bad turnovers, but he made his free throws, which is good. It's a plus whenever Aggies can make their free throws. He played hard. I like the squad that was at the end of the game. If you guys stayed the whole game, there's a lot of people that left, but if you stayed at the end of the game and saw that team that was on the floor, Liberty still had most of their starters in. We had most of our bench guys in. Our only guy that was in that was a starter was Zadi. The rest of our guys that were in were either don't get that much playing time at all, or they're barely in the rotation. I think it was Zadi, Gabe, Carl, Jacoby, and Nate. Nate and Edward kind of switched out a little bit. It was good to see Edward in there a little bit. He didn't do a whole lot, but he also didn't do anything really too bad. He kind of just came in and just gave it a little bit of minutes. Gave some guys some breathers. But they had a lot of energy at the end of the game. We were down by 15 at one point, cut it to 8 in like a minute. So we outscored by 7 in just a minute. Most of our bench guys against their starters. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't mind if Coach Hooten just starts the guys that were on the floor last night tomorrow, assuming probably Nate would start, then maybe Edward would get in a lot, because the starters just didn't give it. I mean, I want to say they didn't give it their all, because they looked like they were giving effort for the most part, and they've been doing that all year long. But there were times on defense, like I said, even though their defense has been a lot better than their offense recently, there were still times yesterday looked like they gave up on defense. Like they would just leave Liberty wide open for threes, and then of course they would miss, and then they get rebounds, and then they score again. And it's super frustrating. And Liberty didn't have the greatest shooting game either. That's the funny thing. Is again, our defense is good, so we force them to miss a lot of shots, but we also miss a lot of shots. And it's not because, the team's defenses are great. Don't get me wrong, Liberty, they're not a bad defensive team at all by any means, but not to the point where we should be missing all those shots. We got a lot of great clean looks. Like Jaden, I think he was 0 for 7 from the field. And he had many great looks. I think out of those 7 shots, I think 5 or 6 of them were wide open shots. But Carl, he had some difficult shots, and he was heavily guarded on all of them and still made all his. I want to say 6 to 8 points. Again, he played hard, did a lot of great things, and I think he deserves a lot more minutes for sure going forward for the rest of the conference and in the tournament as well, Conference USA tournament. And if they're able to somehow make the NCAA tournament, I mean, maybe he gets minutes there too, but a lot of people at the start of conference were really we could definitely do it, and it was looking like we could, but right now, I have no clue. I mean, like I said multiple times, I just don't get what it is with these stretches. You win the first 3 games of the season, then you lose 5 straight, then you win 8 out of 9, and then you lose 6 out of 7. It just makes no sense, and they're just games you shouldn't be losing. Like I said, we play against FIU tomorrow, but they just, or not FIU, Sam Houston actually just beat Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State's number 1, Sam Houston's last in the conference. That goes to show you that anybody can beat anybody on any given night. So again, tomorrow, I think we should be able to win, and I think we will, but I've been saying that the past couple games, and we have not been able to do it. So, I would not be surprised if we lose tomorrow, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the Aggies are able to come out and just blow them out. They look like they want to, play hard and win, but their shots are just not falling. It's definitely frustrating for them. It's definitely depressing for them, and depressing for myself. I was so pissed off after the game that I walked out and I slapped a pole. Luckily, my hand didn't get hurt at all. I could have slapped it way harder or punched it, but obviously I'm not trying to break my hand or anything like that, because I've done things similar to that where I've almost broke my hand. I haven't done it quite yet, which is great, but I was super upset last night. My friends and I were super upset. I was probably saying a lot of things I shouldn't have said, but it was just super frustrating, man, because it's just so difficult. If you guys see me at the game, I don't know if you guys see how red I get sometimes. I mean, I'm white 1, so I just get red easily, regardless when I get upset or I get sunburned outside, whatever it may be. I know the game's obviously inside, but I'm just talking about when I go to other sports and get frustrated. Or even when I get happy, I get red too. It's weird. Deontay played a little bit of a better game this game, way better than the UTEP game. He had a couple nice and ones. Missed a free throw, made 1. But other than that, didn't really do a whole lot. Try to kind of facilitate the offense a little bit, just couldn't hit his threes, but I don't expect him to be really a 3-point shooter. Jacoby airballed a 3. I don't expect him to be a 3-point shooter either. I expect him to be more of a slasher, on-ball defender, get some steals, get some easy buckets like that. That's what he did for the most part last night. We had an 11-man rotation last night, and usually it's about an 8-man rotation. But I think the 11 guys that played, I think, I could definitely see all of those guys contributing and playing well for the rest of the season. The guys that didn't get in, obviously Marvin Cox, he's redshirting, I believe. We have that new guy, I can't remember his name on the top of my head, but he was, he played with Coach Hooten at Sam Houston, but I don't think he's going to be playing until next year. I think he's kind of just here to, because it's like mid-season. I think he's kind of just, getting used to playing college basketball again, because he played last couple of years, but wasn't on a team earlier on in the year, I don't believe. And then new guys, Xavier Johnson, Christopher Bayeku, which on the Jumbotron to show those guys at the end of the game, and I was hoping they would have got in, because at that point the game was already lost. Like, hey man, put these guys in the game. I'm sure they're going to give their all and try to fight for minutes, just like the other guys were in the game, trying to fight for more minutes. Like, a lot of those guys have had PT for sure, but they want to get a little bit more. Liberty was terrible from the free throw line. They shot 60%. And Zach Cleveland, one of their best players, arguably their top player, one of their leading scorers, he missed 7 free throws? He's 3 for 10 from the free throw line, which is crazy. We only shot 20% from 3 and about 34% from the field. Liberty shot 27% from 3. That goes to show you, we got to take advantage of them missing their free throws a lot, and we also got to take advantage of them missing their threes. They shot well from the field, about 44-45%, which is pretty respectable, but a lot of their points came to paint, so obviously you're going to make a lot of those shots. They weren't making their outside shots a whole lot. They had a couple white dudes that can shoot. Obviously that's just kind of how it works, and just basketball in general. But just a super upsetting, disappointing game once again. Again, if we don't win tomorrow, I'm not trying to be a hater or trying to give up, but it's just going to be hard to be able to win Conference USA. Yeah, we can definitely get hot at the right time, maybe right at the end of the season like we did last year, kind of win those last couple of games of conference, even though we lost that first round to Western Kentucky. If you get hot at the right time, you win your conference, you're fine. I've seen teams who are there's been a couple years I've seen teams, be bottom 5 team in their conference, and they win 3 or 4 games in the conference tournament and they make it as a 15th seed. It happens. It could definitely happen to us. But will it? I don't know. The way they're shooting really, I have no clue. That's literally the reason we're losing basketball games, guys, is because of shooting. That's all it is. The effort's there for the most part. The defense is there. The coaching staff is good, in my opinion. But the shooting has not been good. And it's every game, their shots are super close to going in and just rim out every time. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I can't even speak straight because I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you guys can tell my voice either. I'm kind of lost my voice because of how pissed I was yesterday. I was yelling a lot. I woke up today just not feeling great at all. I woke up early to go play some basketball at the AC, take my friend Diego to work, and I'm just really upset about yesterday. And then I tried to use I was at Corbett eating breakfast, and I tried to use the bathrooms. All the bathrooms being used, and all of them were being used. People were painting around it. People were cleaning. I was like, dude, can nothing go right? The Aggies can't make a shot, can't win a game, and I can't use the bathroom. What the heck's going on? That's going to close out for the video today. I don't believe I have anything else to talk about. Again, shooting woes are the biggest thing. I said it multiple times, but that's the reason we're losing basketball games. Please let me know if there's anything else you guys saw that you guys think is the reason we lost. Again, I know the effort wasn't always there at times, but that's when we were already down. The game was pretty much already over. Fans were leaving. There was no energy at all. Just let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys think this team has a chance of bouncing back. Before the season started, as you guys know, I predicted them to get 18 wins, and so they need to win, 6 out of the last 7 to reach that. And I think it's doable, but I think it's also doable for them to lose 6 out of 7 games. Anybody can beat anybody in this conference, like I've said multiple times. We've shown that we can beat some of the top teams. We've also shown that we can, shit the bed against even if they're not great teams, just teams in general. We always seem to just not perform our best the past 8 games. It's been about a month since we've had a solid shooting game. I don't think we've shot over 40% since that UTEP game. That UTEP game was the last game we shot the ball well, hence why we won by almost 30, and then we almost lost to FIU the next game on the road. We've been playing better on the road also. I don't know what's going on, why we can't win at home anymore. We lost 4 straight at home. You can't do that in conference play, especially. It's just not going to help out. If you can win on the road, that's great. And we've been proving to win on the road well, a lot better than last year, but we just haven't been able to win at home as well as we did last year, and that's something that's definitely disappointing for sure. Again, please let me know if there's anything else you guys saw that frustrated you guys. Let me know if you guys saw any good things, because there obviously wasn't many good things. The only good thing I really saw was some of our bench guys stepped up, and that's great to see, and those guys are definitely going to get more minutes for that. But when your main guys can't score double digits consistently anymore, it's not going to work out, or some of them not even score. That's definitely frustrating for sure. So appreciate you guys so much for watching this video. Again, please comment, and let's root for the Aggies, see if they can win tomorrow. The next video I make, I don't want to be upset like this one. I want to be happy. I want to talk about a win finally, right? You guys have a good day. I'm out.